This is not a prediction, it's a pattern. And if you're a massage therapist, you need to hear this. Across the United States, massage education is quietly changing, not in one big headline, but in a series of small, totally reasonable steps. Dominoes, if you will. And these dominoes are starting to line up. Domino 1. 15 years ago, the US had about 1,600 massage therapy schools. Today, there are fewer than 900. Think about that. Half of our education pipeline gone. That alone should make us pause. Domino 2. The schools that are remaining, they graduate about 24 students a year. That's actually not a pipeline anymore. That's slowed to a trickle. Domino 3. Meanwhile, demand for massage therapy has not gone down. Employers report tens of thousands of open positions. So now we have a gap. Fewer schools, smaller graduating classes, huge workforce shortages. And when demand stays high and supply shrinks, something has to fill the gap. That's how labor markets work. Which brings us to the next domino. When a profession can't produce enough graduates, employers won't wait. They'll start building solutions. We are already seeing employer-driven training, apprenticeships, franchise education, and even franchise CE platforms. From a business perspective, makes sense. From a workforce perspective, makes sense. From an access perspective, it might look like progress. But here is the question nobody's asking yet. What happens if the largest employers become the largest educators? And I want to be transparent here. I don't shy away from the fact that I work inside a franchise system. I see the good every day. Franchises introduce thousands of people to massage therapy for the first time. Franchises create stable jobs and normalize massage as routine care. This is not anti-franchise, but working inside the system means I have a unique perspective on how things work. Franchises are built on risk management, consistency, and protection. And those priorities don't always stay inside the business office. They shape practice, they shape training, they shape public perception. Policies become guardrails, guardrails become habits become expectations. We already see this with examples like abdominal and glute work. Clinically valid, but often treated as off limits by franchises because these regions are higher risk. Now imagine millions of clients only ever experiencing massage inside those guardrails. Over time, those guardrails start to feel like the boundaries of the profession. Public perception isn't always shaped by debate. Sometimes it's shaped by repetition. Now let's connect those dominoes. If franchises are the biggest gateway to receiving massage, and if they should start to become a major gateway to learning massage, their policies won't just shape workspaces, they'll start to shape the profession itself. Imagine a future where entire techniques quietly disappear from entry-level education, not banned and not debated, just never taught. Here's the scary part. None of these steps feel bad in and of themselves. Schools struggle, some have to close, employers step in, access increases, new pathways emerge. Every step can feel like a solution, and that's exactly how professions change. Slowly, quietly, conveniently, until one day it becomes the new normal. So we need to ask ourselves, who defines the full scope of massage therapy? Who protects our clinical breadth? And who protects diverse education and practice models? Because when one gateway becomes dominant, a profession begins to narrow. Not on purpose, but by default. And we've seen this pattern before. When the U.S. Department of Education proposed restoring gainful employment regulations and tightening Pell Grant eligibility from 150% of program length down to 100%, the massage profession suddenly realized, oh, federal policy can impact our entire education pipeline. Schools, organizations, and advocates mobilized quickly as the implications became clear. Some states even raised their minimum classroom hours in response. But the urgency of that reaction revealed something deeper. Instead of proactively examining whether our educational structures needed to evolve and leading that conversation ourselves, we found ourselves responding to outside forces already in motion. It was a powerful reminder that national scale changes can reshape massage education long before the profession collectively decides to engage with them. This isn't a prediction, it's a choice. Healthy professions have many entry points, many educators, many voices shaping the future. Right now, these dominoes are still standing. We still have time to decide which ones we want to catch from falling. Massage therapy, this is the wake-up call for us to claim our space.